Good news, fellow Earthlings. If you haven't already stopped, you'll never want to drink water out of a plastic bottle again. Why? Well, if you think you're doing something healthier, you're not. It turns out that bottled water has tiny pieces of plastic floating in it. They get in during manufacturing. Researchers have found that bottled water has twice as much plastic floating in it as tap. Wait, what? There's plastic in our tap water? How the hell did that get there? Well, simple. We now produce and use more plastic than we can deal with. We cannot recycle our way out of the mess. Of the 90% of plastic that doesn't get recycled, that plastic in the natural world doesn't biodegrade, it photodegrades, meaning it breaks into smaller and smaller pieces. So when it ends up fragmented into trillions of tiny pieces in the ocean, fish mistake it for food. It's how it ended up in our food chain. There's now so much plastic involved in everything we consume that it's everywhere in the natural world. Microscopic pieces of it are being found in honey, in artisan brewed beers, in the water supply. We have been wising up. Single-use plastics, supposedly so convenient, actually aren't. So cities, states, countries, the entire European Union, they're all banning the plastic straw, which is great, but straws are a minuscule part of the world's burgeoning plastic trash mountains. Plastic bottles, on the other hand, huge part of the world's plastic trash mountains. Why? Because we produce 500 billion plastic drink bottles annually. 500 billion, big number. Okay, to give you an idea, 1 million seconds lasts for 12 days. 1 billion seconds lasts for 32 years. And then 1 trillion seconds, 32,000 years. So 500 billion bottles is making a really bad problem much, much worse. And more than half of them are filled with water. So important question, was there a hydration crisis before we started drinking bottled water? No, there was not. I spent my childhood perfectly well hydrated. I was able to make it from one glass of tap water to the next, and there were drinking fountains everywhere. But back when corporations realized that their profits from sugary, fizzy drinks, sodas, were declining, they hit upon a novel idea. Sell us something healthy that we all have to drink, water, and get corporate profits where they're meant to be going, up. They turned this idea into a $100 billion a year industry, and we swallowed it. Swallowed our own municipal water, in fact. Studies have found that as much as half of bottled water is just municipal tap water. Yes, it gets some filtering, some fancy reverse osmosis, some electrolytes added, but it's not coming from those glaciers or the beautiful snowy mountains that you see in the pictures on the bottles. Yes, many corporations are just selling us our own municipal water. Nestlé goes upstream of a town's water supply, grabs the water first, bottles it, and sells it to us at a huge profit. Outrageous. Especially when they get that water for next to nothing, even in a drought-prone state like California. But they're not the only ones. Coke, their Dasani water, just unfiltered tap water in a fancy blue bottle until that inconvenient truth got out, and then they started filtering it. There's one water distributing behemoth who uses the same spigot of filtered tap water for Smart Water, not so smart after all, Trader Joe's and Whole Foods water, Core Hydration, and Aqua Hydrate. Aqua Hydrate has these high-profile investors. It's marketed to millennials. But millennials, do you really want to be drinking water that can cost 2,000 times what that water actually costs? Add in the dubious pleasure of drinking it in a plastic bottle with plastic floating in it? Fun fact, researchers found one bottle of Nestlé water had 10,000 times more plastic floating in it than tap. Globally, Nestlé has 62 water brands. They are so deep in this water racket. But really, okay, enough about Nestlé. Let's get to the good stuff, the solutions. I get you may not be ready to go hardcore just yet, say bugger it and buy your own reverse osmosis water filter, install it at home and start your own water bottling business. I do have to say though, it's a great way to stay super hydrated at all times, and you never have to go to the store and lug home those overpriced, heavy bottles of plasticky water ever again. And tap water is way more regulated than bottled water. I mean, that's why these corporations are using tap water. It's already been tested, so they don't have to bother. It's more corporate profits for them. But if you still think it's more convenient to buy water in a bottle, there is one company with the right idea: PathWater. The PathWater guys sat in a car outside a supermarket racking their brains how to tackle the world's plastic pollution crisis and our addiction to bottled water. They went inside, they stood in front of the water display case, and then it came to them: put the water in something that isn't single use and that is 100% recyclable. PathWater in an aluminium bottle was born. The bottle can be washed and refilled over and over and over and over again, and aluminium is 100% recyclable. Yeah, of all the aluminium ever mined, 75% is still in use. Now that's sustainability. This is the life cycle of a plastic water bottle for comparison. The truly crazy part of PathWater's business plan? Go out of business. Yeah, they want to get a water bottle into the hands of everyone, and not just that, have hydration stations everywhere so we can refill our own bottles. It's a bit like the good old days when there were drinking fountains everywhere. PathWater isn't the only for-profit company getting into the reusable water bottle business. This past Earth Day, PepsiCo announced the launch of their hydration platform. Motivation? Consumers want them. Enough consumers want reusable water bottles and places to fill them that PepsiCo has embraced a more sustainable human hydration model. I call it the HHM. That's a positive eco-chain reaction right there. Humans see ecological crisis unfolding and push giant beverage corporation to take responsibility for its part in the mess it's being created. Voting with your dollars, it works. PepsiCo has also committed to using 25% recycled content in all its new plastics manufacturing by 2025. However, SB 54 just passed in the California Senate, and it would require 75% recycled content in all new single-use plastic manufacturing by the year 2030. If it passes in the California Assembly, then all these corporations are going to have to speed up on their reduction goals, because California is the 5th largest economy in the world. It's got over 40 million people and has a lot of clout when it comes to pushing for tougher environmental standards. The tide is turning. Just say no to bottled water. Do yourself, your health, your wallet, the planet a favor. And I'll see you next time.